Hello, everybody. Welcome back to That's Football. Welcome back to Win, Lose or Draw. And welcome back to Robbie. He's not out on a date at 9 a.m. this week. How you doing, pal?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right. Yeah, sorry about last week, man. You know, I still can't get over it that I just completely forgot. It's not like me doing stuff like that, but we're here. We're here today, right? And I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to today.
Well, we'll get into Win, Lose or Draw in a minute, and we'll talk about the scores from last week. But, you know, sending them by WhatsApp actually worked quite well. I don't know whether he was getting someone else to do them for him, but he had quite a good week. But
someone else to do it for him. Listen to this guy.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll be getting the authorities involved if I lose by a point in May. But there's a long way to go. Then there's a lot way to go in the title race as well. It has been a good week, although you were just saying off camera you'd wish Villa had beat Liverpool. But looking at that game of the weekend, Man City against Liverpool. Yeah, 8 points behind, but you've got a game in hand. They've got a tough fixture. You've got West Ham at home. It's a big weekend for Arsenal.
Massive weekend, massive. By the way, what was the scores from last week then? Hold on, you haven't even revealed that.
Yeah, we'll go through that in a minute. I'm just going to go. Let's talk about Man City Arsenal, and then I'll say, come on, you know, you're the Don, mate. You know how it works in the content game. You tell them, oh, something happened, then you go away for a couple of minutes. Yeah, we'll do that in a minute.
Sorry. I bow down to the Don, the new Don. Right, listen. It's such a big weekend for us. If we got West Ham first coming up. We go before Liverpool. I remember that game that they played. Well, if I go back to it, two things that have happened. First of all, they had their game in hand against Everton, which they drew, right? So that was a great result for Arsenal, you know, and them dropping points in their game in hand because they'd have won that. But then they had another bite at the cherry this week because that game that was brought forward because they're in the Carabao Cup is effectively now going to be a game extra that they've played more than us, right? And if they'd have won that, they'd have been like 10 points ahead. And I mean, you start to look at it and think, no chance. But they drew that one as well. Would have loved them to have lost it, but even a draw. And now what it means is if Arsenal were to beat West Ham and they were, say, to lose against City, let's just say they lost against City, which is not impossible. City beat Newcastle 4-0 in their last home game in the Premier League. And they'll be wanting to bounce back from what happened during the week to them, City. If that scenario plays out, we'd then be 5 points behind them with a game in hand.
Yeah.
Which would mean if we won that game in hand, right, it's then 2 points. And remember, we still got to play Liverpool. So it would almost be like it'd be back in our hands. And it's that psychological thing, I guess, that Liverpool, they've been so far ahead, you know, for months, all of a sudden being reeled back in. That's when it gets really nervous. And I thought that Liverpool, they played well the other night, actually, but against Villa. You know, Darwin Nunez, if he puts that away, they'll probably win the game. But against Wolves the other day at Anfield, they looked very nervous in that second half. Very lucky not to drop points in that game as well. So we've got to win this game against West Ham. It's an absolute must-win, can't draw. And remember, last season, West Ham, they beat us at home. They beat us 2-0. Could have been 3-0 because they missed a penalty as well. I remember that game. We missed so many chances in that game. Should never have lost it. And then we got done on the counter twice and they beat us 2-0. So we've got to beat West Ham. No draws, nothing. Have to beat them to put pressure on them ahead of their game against City.
Yeah, I agree. I think with Arsenal, it's like they've just got to win every game now, but the opportunity is there. I still think it's going to be very difficult, but you're spot on. I think that late equaliser against Everton, and then Villa was a tough game. Villa didn't deserve to lose it, but it was. I think it's going to be a really interesting weekend. We'll get into the predictions, but one topical thing I wanted to say, well, two really. One, you mentioned Darwin Nunez there. I was going to say, I know you've got no forwards at the moment. Would you take Darwin Nunez at Arsenal? Now, there'll be a lot of Liverpool fans saying he's already playing for Arsenal when misses like that. But if I said to you now, Darwin Nunez, Arsenal, you can have him for the rest of the season, surely you'd take him.
Yeah, of course I'd take him because we ain't got no striker. You know what I mean? So, of course, I'd take him. And I kind of, you know what it is? You know, one of them players that I like him, you know? I like him, but he's not clinical. No. He's like, one day he'll score an absolute worldie, then another day he'll miss. And has it been an accumulation of some of those misses that he's had at Liverpool that now has just got him thinking every time he's in front of goal? Maybe if he changed his environment, it may even be better. I don't think he's a bad player, but he does miss some. I mean, that one the other night, he's got to put that away, man. He doesn't compose himself in those situations. He just blasts it.
Yeah,
so
I think that's
listen, who've we got? We ain't got anybody. Well, Mikel Merino came on, and to be fair to him, last week against Leicester, the 2 finishes were brilliant. Those are finishes of an accomplished striker, but it's basically a midfield player that we've had to play as a striker, and it's been criminal by our board to not buy a striker in January. Absolutely criminal. Are we going to get away with murder? We'll have to wait and see. Let's see if Mikel Merino can replicate that again this week. Could he score again? That's who we're relying on.
Yeah, well, I respect as well. I think there's a lot of content creators now who would have said, I don't want Darwin Nunez, but no, I think he's a decent player who's probably going to have to leave in the summer, isn't he? And I think that, he's always had. I thought he'd moved past that at some point, but I think Liverpool are going to have to move past it. But I still think he brings a lot of traits, bit like Havertz in a way. It's not always about the finishing. There's other aspects of the game that are important. Where are we going to let's talk win, lose or draw then. Last week I was winning. I think it was, what did I have it down last week? What it here? 19-20 to me it was. I can tell you now that it is, I wrote it down somewhere, it's 24-23. So you've swung it around in your favour. Highlights of the week for you. Well, you went for the Brighton win. I went for a Chelsea win. You went for a Leicester, an Arsenal win. I went for a Leicester draw.
Draw?
I went for a Leicester draw, yeah.
Yeah, they actually defended
80th minute, well. I was all right.
Yeah, they defended really well. I ain't going to lie. They were good.
City Newcastle, I was disappointed with myself. I said draw. You said a Newcastle win. Neither of us got that. Villa Ipswich, we both went Villa win. Neither got that. Fulham Forest, I actually did get the win there. You said it would be a draw. Southampton Bournemouth, we both got Bournemouth. Yeah. West Ham Brentford, I said draw. You said West Ham. So we neither got that. Good win for Brentford on the road again. They're on the road tonight. We'll do that in a minute. Palace Everton, both went Palace win. Good win for Everton. Liverpool, we both went for a win there. And then Spurs United, obviously, should have been a draw. I said draw. You said Spurs win. So Spurs, you've got to say thank you to Spurs, Robbie, as an Arsenal fan. You're winning 24-23 because of a Spurs win, eh?
Or is it time for you to stop backing Man United? Could spin it that way as well.
Absolutely not. Let's start off with Everton against Man United. You can go first. That's the... Oh, no. We're not starting off there because I keep forgetting about this. Leicester Brentford, 8 p.m. tonight. I won't be watching it, but it's a game that Leicester do need to win, but Brentford weren't good on the road, are actually doing quite well on the road now, so it's not as easy to call. You played them last week. Where are you going to go with this, Robbie?
It's a tricky game to figure out because they defended really, really well, but I don't think those will be their tactics, sort of low block against Brentford. Brentford will be the team with a low block and they're good on the counter-attack. It's so hard to call this one. Because Brentford, you know what they're like, man? They get a couple of counters.
I'm thinking about it myself. I'm sort of like that.
I'm going to go for a Brentford win.
Yeah.
On the counter-attack with Mbuemo and those guys, they're good, man. They're a dangerous side to play when you're up against it. And you know, Leicester have to win. I think I have to go for Brentford.
I'll be honest, I was always just going to go opposite to you just because it's one of those games that could go either way, and obviously I'm behind at the moment. So I will go with I actually go with a draw. No, sod it. I'm going to go with the Leicester win.
Okay.
No draws.
Ruben Nistelrooy and all that.
Yeah, we'll go Leicester win. They need to win it, and it's interesting. If they do win it, it's interesting down there. Right, into Saturday. It's my club. Final time at Goodison. I think you've got yours coming up in a.
You've got ours coming up. Yeah. Tough ask.
They're up for it. 4 wins from 5, which is bloody good in the Premier League. Everton, Man United, a nice 12:30 Saturday kickoff. We very rarely play at 12:30. I'm quite looking forward to playing at that time. But I'll go first on this one then. I thought against Spurs we deserved a point, and I've just got a feeling we're going to start getting a little bit better, which is not going to obviously be a massive improvement. But I fancy us. I'm going to go with the 2. Well, it doesn't matter about the score. I'm going to go with the Man United win.
Okay.
Easy point for you now.
2 managers that, you know, new managers in a way. One's had a unbelievable bounce. The other one, there's been no bounce. David Moyes. I don't know. Again, this is a tough. I know you guys always got a good record against Everton, and surely you can't keep losing games. I see a draw here. I'm going to go for a draw. I'm not sure if Everton will win. I think United are going to be there's going to be. They've got to come with something soon, surely. But no Ahmad, man. Oh dear. Draw. I'm going to sit on the fence. Draw.
Okay, locked in at a draw. Bournemouth. Let's move to the 3 o'clocks then. Bournemouth Wolves.
Bournemouth win.
Yeah, I think they're so good.
Strong team at home. Strong team on form. 5th place in the league. Looking good for a Champions League spot. Bournemouth. Lot to play for.
And they've got to win that as well. They put themselves in a good position. You've got to win games like that. They're almost putting themselves in a position where they have to win those sort of games now. Arsenal, West Ham. Me first on this one. Look, I think Arsenal have got to win. Not another manager who's not had a great bounce, Potter. I mean, look, it could be tight, but I still think Arsenal will find a way like they did against Leicester. So I'll go Arsenal, yeah.
I've got to fancy us in this one. At home, first time back at home for a few weeks, and I think the crowd are going to be up for it. Huge game for Arsenal. Have to win, put some pressure on Man City. I'm going for an Arsenal win.
Do you, just quickly, at this moment in time, as an Arsenal fan, if I say to you who's winning the league, and you've got to answer?
I have to say Liverpool, because they're in such a strong position, and I feel that our board, as I said, I keep saying it, we let them off the hook in a way of not bringing in a forward player. And then I think as well, Arsenal have actually done quite well to be still in contact when you consider the amount of injuries we've had to key players of Saka, Jesus, Havertz, all these guys out literally for the season. Odegaard was missing for 3 months. Ben White's only just coming back. He's been out for 3 months. So we've done well because I think we're on a 15-game unbeaten streak. So we've done well, but have we got the firepower? If the games are tight, which they start to get really tight, they've got Salah, Gakpo, even Nunez. You saw him, I know he missed those chances, but again against Brentford the other day when he scored Jota, we've got Mika Marino, and that's it. It's criminal. I
do find it funny with just on some of. I think most people think like you, but there are certain people in your fan base on social media who I just don't understand their obsession with Arteta. It's almost like they wanted Arteta out when the T-shirts were being printed, and they just can't move past that. And we do get like that. Yeah. There's people like that in the United fan base as well. But based on what you've just said there, and looking at where they are, they're still in a title race without a bloody striker. I mean, how anybody could think you're going to be better off with anyone else? It's your owners at the moment, the problem.
At the moment, I agree with you. I mean, listen, I get it on one hand because it's been 5 years without, winning the league. But we were nowhere near it, remember. We never used to be anywhere near it. We used to be talking about top 4. And now the last 2 seasons, right, we've nearly done it. We missed out by 2 points last year, right? And we're, again, second. And I'm saying that this season, when you think of the amount of injuries we've had to key players, which is really important, had Liverpool have had those same sort of injuries, would they be where they are? I don't think they would be. If, you had Salah out for, as long as Saka's been out and things like that. So he's done really, really well, but it's just that thing, that longing to get over the line, why some people are like that. But you've got to give the guy credit to still be doing what he's doing despite. I remember even in the Champions League, we finished 3rd. And I know some people are, some of the haters at the time saying, so what? Right. But look what happened to Man City. They finished outside that top 8. Then you got those tricky playoff games and they're out.
Yeah.
So, he's done really well.
I think also as well, when you think about it, I think Arsenal are top of the league for red cards, and every one of those red cards, you didn't win those 4 games as well, which I know are self-inflicted, but they
a couple of those, a couple of them very controversial as well, because remember they're at the start of the season when they had this rule about if you delay the restart, which they dumped, we were the ones who got 2 red cards out of that, right? Yeah. So it could be a lot different.
Fulham Palace, it's you first, Robbie. Craven Cottage, London derby.
I'm gonna go Fulham. They had a really big win last week over Nottingham Forest, and I think it's a really difficult place to go and get a win. Craven Cottage. So I'm gonna go for Fulham.
Yeah, I'd love to go Palace, but I think that loss against Everton and Fulham beating Forest last week, I've got to stick with them. I did say they'd win last week, so I'm gonna stick with them. Ipswich Spurs is me. You know, this is my one where I'm
interesting.
I'll love it if Ipswich beat Spurs actually after last week and all the bloody James Maddison stuff. I'll love it, but they Spurs owe them one, didn't they? They beat them at their place. Got a point at Villa. I'm gonna go Ipswich win. Sod it. Probably stupid, but yeah, I'm gonna go an Ipswich win.
I'm gonna go for a draw. Ipswich are fighting. I mean, they were down to 10 men for a lot of that game. Their goalkeeper pulled off heroics, but I'm gonna go for a draw. I don't think they'll win because Spurs. You know, I mean, like you said last week, they basically just had one scrappy goal. They thought second half United were all over them. So at Ipswich, you know, they're going to be gunning. They're fighting. I like what they're doing. I like the way they're fighting. There's a one. I can see something like a 1-1 draw or something.
There we go. Neither is going with the Spurs win. Southampton, Brighton. Actually, Robbie, it's a bit of a South Coast derby. I don't know whether it is actually. They're both on the South Coast.
Brighton all day long. Sorry, Southampton. They can't defend, can they?
No.
Not bad at attacking now, right? But defending, rubbish.
Yeah, not even close. I'll go with the Brighton win on that. Interesting game at 5:30. Villa are sort of hanging on to sort of a Champions League fight. That draw against Ipswich was not good for them. They didn't quite get over the line against Liverpool, so got to beat Chelsea. Chelsea are up there, but they don't seem to win very often at the moment. And I'm going to go with the Villa win on this one. I think Chelsea on the road. I don't think they're in the crisis some of their fans think. I think if they can get top 5 still, that would be a really good season for them. But I think Villa need to win. 2 points from two games at home is not good enough. So they can't come out of this with another draw or a loss.
Yeah. Listen, I can see why Chelsea fans are getting upset. They spent 1.5 billion. They were looking in good shape. In December, they're a couple of points off Liverpool. Going into an easy run.
I thought it was in a tight
race. Games against Ipswich, teams like this, and they've just fallen off a cliff. And I'm watching them against Brighton last week. They got taken apart. The only thing with Villa, I thought their defending the other night was pretty poor for some of those goals. And, but I'm going to go with a Villa win.
Yeah, both going with the Villa win there.
That place will be rocking. 5:30 kickoff is a difficult place. I think Arsenal, the only team to go to Villa Park and win this season. It's a difficult place to go to.
I was looking at your fixtures, actually, seeing if you've got to go there, but you've already done it, haven't you?
Done it already. Yeah. Remember that's what we were, sort of a lot of Arsenal fans were saying to Liverpool fans, that a lot of those away games we've already done. We've done Villa away. We've done Man City away. We've done Chelsea away. Some of those games that they still have to do, you know what I mean? So, but I think Villa, I'm going to go for Villa. And, I think Rashford's looking decent there in the last couple of games. He's looked a bit rejuvenated. So I'll go for a Villa win.
Into Sunday, 2 games. We'll leave Man City, Liverpool till last, but Newcastle against Forest at 2:00.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think you're first on this, Robbie. Yeah.
Interesting game. Remember last time Chris Wood went and scored a hat-trick?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, Chris Wood, hat-trick. And then since then, to be fair, he's kicked on, man. He's been brilliant. Newcastle beaten 4-0 last week. They have to bounce back. I'm going to go for a Newcastle win. I think they were really stung by that defeat. Eddie Howe's going to get into them. I'm going to go for Newcastle win.
Yeah, I thought they played really well against you. And that's the thing about Newcastle at St. James's Park. They're such an energetic, high-pressing team. And then they went to Man City and just didn't do it at all. Got absolutely battered. Trippier was terrible. But I did say... I thought Forest were going to go through a difficult period. I predicted they'd lose to Fulham. I'm going to predict Newcastle will beat them, and I think Arsenal will beat them midweek, and that'll be 3 in a row. And that just brings them down into everybody else if they can capitalise, like Bournemouth and probably City as well. So yeah, I will go with a Newcastle win at St. James's Park. And then it's the big one left till last. It's Man City against Liverpool. I'm going to go with what I said midweek when I was watching the Liverpool Villa game. I'm going to say Liverpool don't win this game. I think they needed to beat Villa, and then you go to Man City and you can almost draw it, but they've got pressure on themselves now. You don't want pressure on yourselves against a team that's got Erling Haaland up front. And I think Man City, after what happened against Real Madrid, I don't think they'll want the ball. I think they'll look to say, Liverpool, you come on to us and we'll sort of use the space in behind. I'm going to go with the City win. I think it blows the title race wide open then. I'll go City win.
It's a massive game for City, right? Number one, kind of humiliated, I think, over those 2 legs against City, against Real Madrid. I mean, 6-3 on aggregate from Man City. That's pretty poor.
Didn't have a shot on target until like the 60th minute as well.
Until Real Madrid just said, you know what, well, let's just chill now. We've won the tie.
Yeah.
So they need to bounce back. And also, let's not forget, they still got to get into the top 4. And that's not a foregone conclusion right now with all these teams, breathing down their neck. Bournemouth, Forest are still in a decent position. Chelsea are trying to get into that. They really need to win home games. But the thing that worries me, right, and it's the thing that I kept noticing the other night is that ball over the top.
Yeah.
Every time they get caught out by their defense, and Liverpool are good at doing that. They try and hit over the top to Salah. I think I see a draw in this game, to be honest. I don't know if City can. Listen, I want City to win this game badly, but I can. Draw. Unfortunately, need a win though. Come on, City, man.
It's an interesting one because when they played at Anfield in December and Liverpool won, I said I think that almost gives Liverpool the title. Obviously, you don't get the title in December. I thought it was such a significant win.
Yeah.
But I think almost this one on Sunday flips it back open again. I think if Liverpool go there, draw doesn't kill off Arsenal, but if they get the draw there, I think they'll be very confident. If they win there, I think it's very difficult to pop. I think City, like you say, Champions League, they've got to get top 4. They need to react. They've got to try and build for next season. They've still got good players. I think it'll be a good game. I hope the referee doesn't. Well, you probably do hope the referee ruins it. I don't know who it is, but yeah.
As long as he ruins it in favour of City. Yeah, come on. I need a bit of adversity on Liverpool, man. They've been too good this season. You have to give it to them. They've been the best team in the league so far. They really have. They've been solid in all areas. But City, if City get their act together, they can beat Liverpool. But then I say that Liverpool have only lost 1 game this season. You know what I mean? They've only lost 1 game in the league to Forest.
Yeah.
Remember, Forest, that's the only game they lost. They drew against us. That's going to be interesting when we play them. But come on, City, man. Come on. You got to do it for Pep, man. He's looking a bit down.
You got to do it for Robbie. You got to do it for Arsenal.
Do it for Arsenal, man. Like, if I say that, they won't do it.
Pep likes Arteta, doesn't he? So I'm sure he'd rather Arsenal win.
Come on, man. Humble them, man. Humble them.
Absolute pleasure to have you back on, Robbie. You're winning on win, lose, or draw. There's a few differentials in there. Make sure you get your comments in as well. I think that Ipswich Spurs one that might be my week. That if I get that, I reckon everything else will go my way as well.
All right. That's the key, right?
Yeah. And Man United beating Everton as well. You went with a draw, which I do think is the clever prediction, but
yeah,
come on, United.
By the way, did you see their stadium looks nice, man? Their new one.
I tell you what, I woke up this morning and I went on X or Twitter, whatever it's called, and I saw this thing from a Spurs fan saying, and it was all pictures of White Hart Lane, and they were like, God, I miss White Hart Lane. And then it got loads of interaction. And I was reading the comments and it was all like, yeah, Everton fans don't know what they're missing. I thought fair play, because I'm not a massive fan. I think sometimes clubs do have to do it. I understand why Arsenal did it. And I like what Arsenal did with Highbury, because it's a special ground, Highbury. But I just love Goodison Park. I think they're in a similar position where they've got to do something because it's so old. But
it's so old, though, isn't it? I mean, I love
it. Does look nice, the new stadium. But I think
you go there, it's got a lot of character, Goodison Park, those wooden terraces and stuff like that. But come on, it's old, man. This is it's 2025, man.
Yeah,
right?
It looks impressive. But I like the old grounds because it's like it makes me think as a kid in the 80s, Highbury, Goodison, White Hart Lane, Plough Lane, all that lot.
Plough Lane, bloody hell. Well, you like Plough Lane?
No, I just remember that. Trying to think, what was the? Yeah, well, Millwall was horrible in them days. Probably still is now. The Den, but they're still at the same place. But I mean, like when it was all built down. But yeah. No, it does look impressive. I like how steep it is as well. So it should keep an atmosphere, which is what Goodison's always been about.
It looks good.
Robbie, you're a legend. Thanks very much for coming on. I'll be on Robbie's channel on Monday to react to the weekend. And I think there'll be a lot of reaction one way or another. It's one of those weekends.
Big weekend.
Check it out, everyone. We'll speak to you later.